So I literally just finished putting the radiator in the old pickup truck so my wife could drive it, and I pulled the car in the driveway, the old Roadmaster, and we are now officially uh, getting it ready for duct tape drags. I got a lot of work to do. We got some painting we're gonna do on it. We hope you enjoy. Anyway, let's get to it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to tear this front wheel off on this side. It's making noise here on this side too. I think the springs are collapsed in the front end possibly. So I'm going to see if I can figure out where that noise is coming from. Um, when you turn the wheel all the way, it kind of does a weird thing. Um, I don't know what's going on, but it's all got to be figured out before we go. So I've been working on these front hubs, get them off there. Um, Looks like that. Let me see if we can see this. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's pitting, right? On top of that, I didn't do that. That little, so that's not good. It's covered in uh, metal shavings as well, and it's pretty loose. I mean, like super loose. Um, so bearings are going to have to be replaced. I I looked, and it seems to me, I don't know if we can see that or not, but that the races might be okay. I'm hoping we can see that. Either way, a little bit more work. Not really that much more expensive to do. I've already priced it out because I thought about doing it anyway. So just slows us down on this little upgrade here. So I'm just gonna get the other side off, tore apart and off, and then take it up, get the rotors ground, just so that they're fresh, and then maybe do a little painting on the outside. Not that big a deal. Put new bearings and get new rear seals, and then we'll start packing bearings, and that's when we'll complete this video, I guess. So I guess we'll see you in a couple days. Well, it's been a couple of days, and we got parts back, and I got new bearings um, that seem a lot better than the old ones. Uh, American-made bearings. If that matters to anybody, I don't know. I just thought that the Chinese ones that were in there were pretty cheap. Anyway, I also got seals, and let me see here. Where did I put it? So on the passenger side, this is the seal that came out of it. It's got a ridge here and all that, right? And when we were looking at it in the computer at work, this is the seal that's supposed to be in it. Now, they look very similar in the center, kinda, you know, see? But there's no ridge. So I can only guess that this is the wrong bearing, you know? Um, so I got two of these. When I tore apart the driver's side, I don't think I have done anything or shown you anything since then. Um, there was literally no seal at all on the back of it, and barely any grease in there as well, which was strange to me, considering that this hub here, which is what it is, this is the one that was on the driver's side, is brand new. Like it's there's barely any rust on the inside here. I'll show you. You'll see whenever we get up a little bit closer. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know these people who owned the car before. I don't know who worked on it. I'm not trying to trash talk. I'm just saying that these are things that I'm fixing and have found wrong with it. So I hope nobody's offended. But we're going to try and put it back together at least the right way so it lasts a little while. And so let's get started on that. We're going to start with packing some bearings and looking at that hub a little bit. So for right now, I was just kind of test fitting here, make sure that this fit properly, and it looks like it does. We didn't change the race out in here. I did have to change the outside bearing on the passenger side and race because it was all chewed up. I think I mentioned that before. These, even though they didn't have a seal in the back of here and there was a lot of gravel that went through it, seemed to be okay. So we're just going to get on with this, and I'm going to old school it because I don't have any gloves. So we're going to just old school it and see what happens. So this is another thing where I've done this before, but I'm not an expert at this, so we're going to do our best. My first goal is to just kind of get the bearing packed and get it set in here, and then we'll work on getting that in. I have limited time this morning. I kind of been messing around, but we've been painting and everything like that. So I've got a little, like 8:20 or something like that in the morning right now, and I got to be to work at 10 o'clock. So we'll see how far we get here. I'm hoping to get at least this side on or done or something. So in this, I'm just using Napa's Premium Performance. I'm, got it at work. So I maybe could have used a better grease, but this one is going to be okay. A little stinky, but we'll see what happens. So just trying to get the grease in the side of that bearing. This little area here, and push it through. I'm just going to keep working it, and maybe somebody out there has done this better than I am doing it right now. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this. Probably count on my hand. On one hand, how many times I've actually packed bearings for a vehicle like this. It's probably under 5. And I'm sure that most people are thinking, and you can tell. And that's true. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy in here having fun. This is mainly what you're supposed to be doing. Just trying to get it packed in there. And you want to have clean hands if you're going to do it like this. I know a lot of guys nowadays are using gloves, and that makes a lot of sense. And not getting stuff on your hands all the time, or so whenever you go to touch this piece now, my hands are going to be a little greasy, but I'm going to try and keep off the rotor area, for the brakes, and we'll see what happens. That's pretty good, I think. It doesn't turn anymore, so we're gonna just kind of lay some more in there. Lay that down. And truthfully, I wish there was a better way to do this. I mean, I'm sure there's people use machines or something like that. I'm not going to do that. Never used one before. Alright, let's this one, get rid of. I always use throwaway rags. That's a good thing whenever you're doing this too. There's gonna be, no matter what you do, gonna be extra grease. Right? So use a throwaway rag so you can kinda throw it away whenever you're done, right? Instead of having that just hanging around your shop. This is going to seem ridiculous, but this is the only thing I have that is the size of the the seal. So what we'll do is we'll go put this on the car, just so it's sitting there. I gotta find the other bolts for it. Alright. Grab a cotter key, just in case. See if I can find them. Grab this. All right. So I got the bearing in here, but it's not seated. There we go. Take that little thing, get that in there, a little retaining washer, start to spin the nut on. I'm gonna wait for the cotter key because we're gonna have to like seat this bearing. Pretty sure it's all the way in there. Okay. Stop turning here. Slow. Find that. Well, it is Saturday of the next weekend. I know I started this project last Sunday, but I now work from 10 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, so I have a couple hours in the morning to work and I can make noise, and a couple hours at night I can work and make noise before it gets dark or whatever. My wife right now is sanding more of the car for more painting. I'm actually going to go out and jack it up. In the front, I've been driving it around. I got it back together, and I drove it around a little bit. I'll show you what we did. I'm actually going to take the calipers off on both sides. Not at the same time, but I'm going to get the whole front of the car jacked up, take one caliper off, and then reseat the bearings again, just to make sure that everything's tight enough and make sure it looks all good on the inside there. But it seems to be handling a lot better, and some of the goofy stuff that was happening, whenever you turn the wheel, you know, on a normal car, if you turn it and you let go, the wheel comes back, right? So it's always made to go back to center. It wasn't doing that. Well, because the wheel bearings are bad. So it does that now. It's not making some goofy noises and all that kind of stuff. It just feels better. There's still a few things that I'm a little concerned about, but we will try and figure out what those things are. So but for right now, let's just go look and see how these bearings ended up and how the brakes look and stuff like that. All right. All right. So this is what we got. Starting to paint the inside. I'm not done with this yet. I still need to clean some of this. It's got re-dirty again after I painted from driving it. So we're gonna clean it up a little bit more. I'm actually gonna paint this to get this all painted, right? Gotta get some of this. They smeared the whole out of the hub, outside of the freaking hub and rotor, or whatever you want to call it, with anti-seize. So I've been working to try and get rid of that, and it's just a pain. It just doesn't go away as easy as possible. The paint is okay. It's not holding up to the brake very well, but it is what it is. It'll be okay. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to get rid of the caliper and just kind of set it over on the side, and then we'll get back and I'll show you what I'm going to do to retighten this. So the point of this is to just make sure that it's tight. But on this side is pretty good. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to just go all the way back. So it's pretty much off there. See, now I'm going to put it finger tight. Right there is about just, it's not really snug, it's just on there. See the hole. That should be good. Now when I did this before, I actually literally tightened this bolt or nut, put this on here, tighten this nut over and over again and just kept spinning it. And then I tighten it and spin it and tighten it and spin it. And when this thing stopped moving me, I stopped being able to spin this, you know. Then I loosened it up back off, and that got the bearings into where they're actually supposed to be. And then what I wanted to do was make sure that they were snug again here. I actually may take this one more. Just to see. What about there? You know, I think that's too tight. So I want to back that off. And then there we go. You drop. Spins real nice. See how that spins? Drop the gunner key back in. And it's good to go. So one last thing we're going to do is we're going to put a shock in here, but I'm going to work on that a little bit as I paint. So I think I'll do that in a little while. But that'll be the only thing. I'm going to paint this, I'm going to put a shock in. So, oh, and grease. I'm going to grease all of these ball joints. All of them seem okay. I mean, I'm not getting a lot of movement out of anything. Like there's no, you know what I'm saying? So everything seems okay. But I just want to make sure they all have grease in them. I'm going to call this tech tip of the day. If you have a hub that you want to paint, and maybe furbish a little bit while it's on the car, and you don't want to get the rotor full of paint, you can take a sweatshirt. I would use a sweatshirt, not a t-shirt. This t-shirt's going to be too thin, but you can take a sweatshirt, put the hub through the neck hole, and paint. Now granted, you have to wait for it to dry to be able to turn it over so that you can paint the other side, but far easier than having to wipe or use brake clean to clean off the rotor after you get done painting it. That'll be it for today. I'm gonna just kind of keep working on this. I think the next one we film here, put any time into, is when I start tearing the engine apart, which I think will be tomorrow. Today I'm just going to kind of keep messing around with this. We're actually watching right now out here while we work on the car the Bristol 1000 on Cleater Vision. So we're just having a good time. Having a couple adult beverages, having a couple adult beverages, just living life. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.